Hey Fit Fam, this is Coach Rod from Team FFLEX. Today we're going to get into the Lenda Pro Wellness, and we're going to talk about our top 5 placings, talk about some scoring criteria, judging, and why the placings may have landed the way they did, and what it means for you as a wellness competitor out there. And that's what I do on this channel. I want to give you the tools, the tips, the strategies, the things you need to know to understand the division better, to do better for yourself, no matter your level, whatever it is. You could never have competed before. You could already be trying to get a pro card. You could be an IFBB pro. And I'm going to hopefully give you the tips, the tools, and the things you need to know to do your best on stage. And I do it all the time. So if you get anything out of this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We got a lot more coming. All right, so let's take a look at our Lenda Wellness Pro. All right, so first place winner, Daniela here, okay? And then we have Amanda over here taking second, and Melitza taking third. Now, these are our top 3 athletes. We'll talk about 4th and 5th momentarily when we get there. First, what I can tell you, very good lineup, very good examples of our criteria in the wellness division at this event. Wellness pro shows have been going kind of all over the place recently. Some of them I've tried to pull up to review, and I couldn't even do it because there's such a low level of attendance at them, and here we are with a very good class, very good lineup, very good examples, and I'm very excited to see it. So wellness, as we know, is all about that lower body dominance, and there isn't a single athlete here that's not showing that in a high way. This is definitely very, very dominant look. So if we look at Daniela here, she's got good shoulder shape. You want to have that a little bit to the arms and the bicep and the tricep. You need to have those. Good little lat sweep there, and then boom, waist is where it should be. And when I say good little, I mean like it's a very not professional way to say that, it's in the right level of density. She is clearly has the muscle and the shape and the size, but it's not to the point where the lower body is being matched, right? Her lower body looks clearly much more dominant. We can see the upper glute from the front, crazy glute shelf going on from the front. Glutes from the front, as I always say on the channel, is what we talk about in wellness. Good quad sweep here. Her lower body looks very, very dominant, okay? And so when I'm saying it's a little muscularity, it's in comparison to the very dominant lower body, which is what you want in wellness, okay? Now looking over here at Amanda, good shoulder shape, overall good, nice taper, a little bit more of an up and down look for her, a little bit more, in that rectangle zone, maybe not as much of a taper. Could be some posing choice here as well that plays into that, but clearly lower body dominant look. A little bit less in the glute development, but a lot more in the quads, right? So she's got very dominant wellness look in the quads. Awesome look for wellness overall. Keep in mind when we talk about our placings in this top 5 at a pro event, we're talking about very good examples of criteria, just also how they can vary and what that means for you as you are out there trying to build your own best wellness physique. Now, looking at Melitza, right, first thing I get is a lot of upper body. However, a lot of lower body here too. So for her, a little bit more of a symmetrical look, still very wellness, but I think her upper body starts to match a little bit too much, and that's what we start to see usually when we work down to 3rd, 4th, 5th placings. Let's look from the back, though, because we know wellness is won from the back. Looking here, Daniela, she's got really good shape to the shoulder, overall good shape here. Rear delt, you can see it. A lot of times you don't want to see the back a lot, but a lot of these athletes actually end up showing their back to some degree in this lineup. That can actually hurt you sometimes, right? When you get to the point where your back is showing to that degree, it can actually show judges you may have too much muscle, you're too lean, something like that is going on, right? So here we want to make sure that you're not exemplifying that too much. It can actually hurt you. Sometimes athletes choose to show your back, but you run a risk when you do that, okay? So here what we can see is Danielle definitely has a good shape. She's got really solid upper glute, really good overall glutes. Tie-in is great, and the quads sweep like crazy. So she's got a 3-dimensionality effect to her glutes, and she looks dominant. Even though she's got that muscle up top, she still looks very dominant, and that is going to be key for her. My computer's actually about to die, so let me just pop this in here real quick. But basically, what we're seeing there is overall really good shape, really good size in each athlete. And when we move out the call out, we can see Amanda here. She maybe doesn't have as much size to the glute, as much size overall. And her quads, they kind of overpower her glutes. So I think that becomes a factor. You want to still be symmetrical in your lower body musculature. You just want to be asymmetrical to the upper body. So definitely a factor there at play. And then looking over here at Melitza, she's very symmetrical upper and lower. I think her quads overpower, and she, probably would be better to kind of get that over dominant look for her lower body, kind of downsize the upper body a bit, and that would favor her as well as balance out her glutes to match her quads and her hamstrings a little bit more. Now, when we look at the 4th and 5th compared, we get to see a little bit more even what we're looking at, and this just moves down the lineup a bit. Is Brianna over here and Casey over here. So very symmetrical physiques is really what I can say. They're both symmetrical. Brianna needs a little bit more conditioning, I would say. She looks a little softer here than the other athletes in the call out. However, her shoulders and her glutes and everything kind of do all match. So very symmetrical look for wellness, not lower body dominant enough to really go ahead and pull that through. And I think that becomes a factor for that. And then looking at Casey, she's probably the most symmetrical in the lineup, meaning like she's got really good shoulder shape, tapers in nicely, but glutes and hamstrings and quads, they all match. So I think that, again, judges keep hammering home for us at all the wellness events, like, hey, wellness is lower body dominant. Don't be too symmetrical. Put on as much muscle as you think you can handle, but don't make sure, make sure it's not in symmetry. It's up, down, and left and right. And that's really what we end up seeing here. Brianna, again, a little bit softer, not as much three-dimensionality to the glute, needs probably more glute size overall. And looking over here, same thing going on for Casey. She also has a little bit more maybe of a discrepancy in her conditioning where she could tighten that up a bit in the lower body, but overall she's just too symmetrical. Both the athletes in our 4th and 5th spot clearly are more symmetrical, and Melitza in our 3rd, she's looking pretty symmetrical too. So again, I think a very clear representation from judges. Hey, we don't want symmetry and wellness. That's why we made this division. You are supposed to be lower body dominant, so go create that look. So all you wellness competitors out there that are doing this, do not go to stage until you've built enough muscle, until you have clearly made the example of that lower body dominance. And I'll tell you what, it's more muscle than you think that you need to actually do this, because when you go diet down, you do a prep, you will have a little bit of muscle loss. You will have some body fat that you lose, that you'll see that now you look, oh, you were so dominant lower body, but a lot of it was body fat. Now you don't have that. That's going to be a problem for you on stage, right? So you really want to make sure that you can pull together the best look by making sure you're dominant lower body, put on more muscle than you need. I promise you, you will do better on stage having that, because by the time you get to stage, most of the time people's feedback, if you're going to get the conditioning right, most of the time people's feedback, the next thing is going to be you need to build, okay? And every now and then it comes into other things, like maybe you could change this look, that look, but very much so is usually, especially in wellness, it's going to be the fact that you need to build more muscle. You need to create more depth to the glutes, more to the hamstring, more to the quad, more muscle. So take that with you and go train, get that muscle, build that muscle, and come back to my channel so you can learn more stuff. Please subscribe. Let me know what you think of these call-outs. Let me know what you think of this event. Do you think that the athletes should have replaced the way they did? Do you think somebody else in this lineup should have won? Let me know in the comments and hang out with me. Subscribe, thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Coach Rye is out.